Hey guys. So I was on Instagram and I saw this as I was scrolling down, posted by the Warcraft Blizzard, the Blizzard Warcraft account. And it's a simple question, and I would, if you've played World of Warcraft, I would love to know your answer. What's a dungeon you'll never forget? So here we've got just a few examples that they posted. The Dead Mines. Gotta love the Dead Mines. You have Mr. Smite. That was right here. You had this little treasure chest that was right there, Mr. Smite. Um, really fun uh dungeon. I remember when me and my friend, because she was living here in North Carolina and I was in New Jersey, and it seemed like every single time we talked on the phone, she was running the dungeon, and all I heard was, when you kill one of the miners, they do that. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm running dead mines. I'm like all the time, because that's all I hear when I freaking call you. But it was a great dungeon. It really was. And then they revamped it, and the revamp was just as cool. It may not have been as memorable, but it was very cool. But the original Dead Mines, I mean, fuck. This was back in the day where running the Dead Mines could possibly take 4 fucking hours. Like, it would take just as long as a freaking raid would. Because there were so many mobs, and some classes back then just weren't balanced enough, and it was insane. So you had to have a lot of time, which is why people were so happy when they introduced the dungeon finder, because it was hard enough getting a group together. But then you have a dungeon where it might take 2, 3, 4 hours to do, and then what if someone leaves? At least now, when you're in a dungeon, someone leaves, you just click, re-queue, or, find another person, and, you know, you get another person in the group and you can finish. But here, if you had 5 people and someone left, it's like, welp, I guess we're done. So you could have made it all the way to the very end. You could have been right there with Mr. Smite, and then someone leaves. And then it's like, well, it looks like we're not beating it tonight. Because back then, it's like you needed everyone. If one person left, you were basically, unless you're being carried by someone, if this was just a group you got together, you're all the level of the dungeon, yeah, you couldn't really afford having one person leave. You just couldn't. Um, Wailing Caverns, the old Wailing Caverns with the jump of doom. So there's the one part where you get to, and there's like this, cliff, and you have to jump onto this, this ledge and then another ledge. But it was so far apart that if you jumped the wrong way, you just fell right back down. You had to run all the way back. When Wailing Caverns was revamped, they moved it a lot closer together, so there was really no way of falling unless you just like walked off of it, because there's still a gap there. But I think you would just have to like walk off of the ledge in order to fall down. But if you jump, you're gonna make it. Same thing, really. The inside of Wailing Caverns really changed. It was like a big maze at first, but then they revamped it. I actually liked it better when it was a maze. Because you have one pathway, and then you have another pathway that like leads to another section, but it also comes back to where you were, and then you have the straight. It was real fun. Really cool dungeon. And you had 2 separate ways. You came into the main area, and there's going that way, and there's plenty of bosses on each side. It was real fucking fun. Same thing. These dungeons could take anywhere up to like 4 fucking hours to do. Especially Wailing Caverns. There was so much grouped together in a small area. Um, but here we are. It's in the Barrens, and just the entrance is like it's a skull, essentially. So, oh, the good old days. Shadowfang Keep. Same thing. Classic, and then it got a revamp. Both of them are similar-ish. Still fun. Um, But Shadowfang Keep in the it's like when they revamped it, it just became easier. I mean, I remember going Shadowfang Keep in Classic or Burning Crusade and taking a while. I'm seeing Scarlet Monastery. Yeah. Yeah. Ask anyone about fucking Scarlet Monastery. Um, but Shadowfang Keep used to be a whole lot harder, but then once they like remade the dungeons, it just seemed I mean, I remember when they redid Ragefire. Ragefire is usually that's the first dungeon you'll go to, usually as a Horde member, even Alliance. It's like the first dungeon you visit. And it was hard as hell back in the day. And then they revamped it, and it's like, okay, this is actually really easy now. So, Shadowfang Keep, though, really fun. I love the aesthetic of it. The fact that you can also get out of bounds, really fun. Especially now with Demon Hunters. Demon Hunters can get out of anything. If there's a will, there's a way. And if you see some ledge and everything, chances are you can get up to it. So Demon Hunters have... But yeah, you can jump up and then make your way right here. And then you can just jump down. You'll be out of the instance. Like, you'll still be in the instance, but you'll get out of it and you'll be able to, you know. Ugh. 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 Anyone who knows, knows. This is by far one of the worst dungeons, in my opinion, at least. I know a lot of people who say the same thing. This is by far, because when it was first released, it wasn't even fucking finished. It's like they released it, and it's like, well, technically it's not even finished. So have fun. So I think one reason that made it so fucking annoying is the pets. So basically, you start out, and there's two things you can do. You can either take the pathway and work your way down to the main, the center room where you get the first boss, or there's like this parachute, or you can just, just jump. But you can jump down there and just get there from doing that. But the pets don't do that. Instead, the pets take the pathway. Now, what happens when the pets take the pathway? They aggro everything on the way. So you're sitting there fighting the boss, and what happens? You see a whole shitload of mobs coming towards you. You see the fucking hunter's pet coming at you. You see the freaking imp coming at you, and you freaking see these mobs, and they're like, God damn it! You guys forgot to dismiss your pets. It's like, yes. And even now, I haven't played in a while. Is it still like that, or has the the path for the pets been changed? Do they jump down with you, or are they still, oh, let me just go all the way around? Okay. Look, Dad, I brought everything with me. But it really is a bad dungeon. It really is. And then same thing, it got remade into something more complete, but they're so fucking bad. Worst fucking dungeon. It's like the Oculus in Wrath of the Lich King. If I was using Dungeon Finder and I fucking got put into this dungeon, I'm like, I'm gone. And then you get Deserter for like 30 minutes. I'm like, I'll gladly take it. I'm not going back to that fucking place. The Oculus though isn't really that hard. I mean, it's hard when you have people who don't know what they're doing, but I actually tried it a while ago, like a couple years ago, with a group, and it actually went really well. It went pretty fast. It wasn't nearly as bad as I remember it when it was back in Wrath of the Lich King. Of course, character strength is a lot different then. It was a lot different then, and so. But I'm like, I'm pleasantly surprised. I hated the place. I gave it a chance, and it really wasn't that bad. No Gone still fucking sucks. This place can go fucking suck a giant floppy Worgen cock. Um, let's see what other people are saying. Classic Dead Mines, yep. Scarlet Monastery. Zul'Farrak. Yeah, I love, not only do I love troll dungeons, I love open dungeons. Like, ones that you're not enclosed in anything. Zul'Farrak is an open area. There's a sky, you can see the sky, and it's very open. Um, I love dungeons like that. Uh, some of the dungeons that are some of my favorites, like Shadowfang Keep, they do have some kind of open areas in them. But some, most of it's not. But you do have open areas, but completely open area dungeons like Zul'Farrak, where the entire dungeon, you're not, when I say not enclosed, I mean, you still obviously have a set path you have to go to. Or Zul'Farrak, you can actually go different ways, but you're not stuck in a building, it's not cramped. It's an open area. You're outside, which I love Zul'Farrak. Any of the troll dungeons are fun. You know, Black Rock Depths, Skullman's. Oh yeah, the original. Oh my god. That place was tough. Please, yeah, exactly. Please don't remind him of Noragon. That place is so bad. Halls of Reflection. Uh-huh. Let's see. Scarlet Monastery for Vanilla WoW, Burning Crusade Karazhan, Wrath of the Lich King, Nax Ramus, Dead Mines, obviously. Ooh. Dead Mines and Shadowfang Keep. 19 Twink Gang, hashtag Pizza Hut. Yeah, Shadowfang Keep had some really, some good weapons and items for Twinks. I think even now they're still pretty viable. Like I said, I haven't played in a while, so I don't know what's viable still and what's not. But Shadowfang Keep had some really good Twink items. Dead Mines, Wailing Cavern, Black Fathom Deeps, another that got revamped. Wailing Caverns, Skullaments, the Calling of Stratholme. God, yeah. When you get to go with Arthas and Razor Fencrawl. So it seems like most people are saying like Wailing Caverns for sure. Scarlet Monastery, Dead Mines, Mauradon's BRD, yeah, Blackrock deck. It was actually pretty. Blackrock Depths was basically a raid in itself, so. Zul'Farrak. Carries to level 50. Yeah, 15. Wailing Caverns, endless. Forge of Souls, Pit of Sauron, Halls of Reflection, Classic Stratholme, Wrath of the Lich King, Classic Temple, the Sunken Temple. Yeah, that place was a fucking maze. You had to like get to these different platforms and it had like fucking tablets on them, and there was like I think a secret boss you could fight. It was just really annoying. There were so many levels, but then they kind of revamped it and mainlined it. So like you go in, and you just go this way, beat the boss. Go that way, beat the boss. Go up there, beat the boss there. Turn, and there's the last boss. It's just like they're making it too easy. Halls of Reflection. Uh-huh. Tol Dagor, and BFA. I mean, it was okay. Yeah, Ice Crown Citadel. Yeah. Dead Mines, and to add raids, Tempest Keep. Tempest Keep was merely a setback. It's either Skullomance or Hellfire Ramparts. Oh yeah. Yeah, Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King dungeons, most of them were pretty amazing. There are some like the ones with like Zangamarsh, you know, the Steam Vaults and this and that. There's some of them, some of those are pretty forgettable, but for the most part, pretty much all the dungeons were just amazing, and especially, well, no, I guess you could find some charm in it, like the opening of the opening of the Dark Portal. Um, but let's see what other people are saying. America. Ugh. Wailing Caverns. Because it took 6 tries to find it. Halls of Reflection. Good old Dead Mines. Yeah, everyone's saying Dead Mines. Forge of Souls, Pit of Sauron. Sulfuroc. Dead Mines. Revamp it with old bosses. Do a revamp of the revamp. Oh, there's an interesting one. Vortex Pinnacle. That place is really fun. I'm surprised. Eye of Jara. I mean, it's cool because again, it's an open dungeon. You know, you're running from boss to boss, but you're outside. So it's very large, very open. You don't get the whole sense of being closed in and confined. Um, but it's a cool one. Like I said, I love open area um raids and dungeons. Shadowfang Keep. Yeah, everyone hated Noragon. Upper Blackrock Spire. Leroy Jenkins. God damn it, Leroy. The Purging, yep. Calling a Strathholm. Old Sunken Temple. Classic Dead Mines. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Most people are saying Dead Mines. Shattered Halls. Yep, that's a really good one. East Dire Mall. Oh, I'm surprised Dire Mall was on here. Trial of the Champion. Oh. Dude, the first one is legendary. Uh-huh. Meaning that Dead Mine hands down. I mean, it really was a memorable. I mean, like so you're going through and you're really in this closed area, you know, it's the Dead Mines. You know, you're fighting these miners and the Defias Brotherhood and stuff like that. And then you come into this large cavern and you see this amazing sight of this massive ship. And originally it was supposed to be outside. But it was inside now. So it's inside this massive cavern. Um, you know, you would have, you know, the planks, you know, the wood planks leading up. Like I said, over here was Mr. Smite. You had a treasure chest. You get near and he shows up and you get stunned for, you know, until the encounter starts. And then you work your way up into up the ship, and then, you know, you've got the captain up there. But it was just quite a sight for the first time because the scope of it. Like I said, you're in this, you're in the mines, and it's so small and enclosed, and you know, even some of the dungeon boss rooms, they're large, but the minute you stepped out and you saw this ship in this huge open fucking cavern, it just gave this huge grand scope of everything, and it was fucking incredible. You know, for a game that came out almost 20 fucking years ago, even now, when you go in, just the scope of it and the scale is just, it's fucking crazy. Um, Wailing Caverns, Dead Mine, Zul'Farrak, Molten Core. Oldemon, I mean, Oldemon is fun. It's just, I shouldn't say it's fun. It's just, it's not bad. It just takes a long time. Now, there are some times that dungeons would take a long time because there was a lot to do. And then there's some places like Oldemon that were just really large that would take forever to do. Um, uh-huh. And, Onyxia. Wailing Caverns, Ragefire Chasm. Warpwood Quarter of Diremaw. I mean, classic Dead Mind's True Love. Halls of Reflection. Halls of Reflection is really cool. Original Sunken Temple. Yep, Forge of Souls. I mean, Forge of Souls was actually, I mean, the aesthetic was cool. You know, anything, you know, it was Ice Crown Citadel area, so it had a lot of that dark, blue, purpley aesthetic to it that we had come to know and love. Um, it was the Shadowfang Keep with my brother Dev, now passed. Yeah, Shadowfang Keep is a cool one. I still go back there from time to time. Grim Batal. Oh yeah, that place was fun. Wiped so many fucking times, especially the last boss. But boy, that place is fun. It really is. Name a dungeon after Wrath of the Lich King you can remember. I can't. Well, that's the thing. It's like Wrath of the Lich King was great with dungeons. Even Cataclysm. Um, Mist of Pandaria had some pretty good ones. But it's like after that, I really don't remember too many of them that are memorable. Run away, little girl. Run away. Yes. That was another thing I heard all the time. Run away, little girl. Run away. Memories. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I had to listen to that clip. So the runaway little girl, it's from the wolf boss in Karazhan. It's basically like this little play that they put on. It could be several plays. It could be like a parody of Romeo and Juliet, or Little Red Riding Hood, or Wizard of Oz. And but the wolf does that whole "run away, little girl, run away." And when Deadly Boss mods, you know, the add-on, that's one of the voice lines they use. Um, so yeah, the runaway little girl, so fucking nostalgic. Kind of like the beware. Is Algalon the Observer? So it's so fucking good. Classic WoW is amazing. So many fucking memorable moments, so many memorable dungeons, so many memorable raids, so many memorable things happened. Nowadays it's like, eh, I mean, it's cool, I guess, but this is why Classic, I think, is doing better than you know, the current versions, because it's just more memorable. You know, this was back when you actually had to, you know, talk to people and strategize, and the dungeons took just as long as raids. You know, if you weren't geared correctly, or if you didn't have the right fucking stats, or your fucking resistance wasn't high enough, that you would wipe. And like I said, if you were doing Dead Mines and you got up to Mr. Smite and you're working your way up and then someone left, you're basically fucked. You're basically fucked, because if you're all the same, the level of the dungeon, you need every player you can get. And if one person just decides to leave, you're fucked. Unless some happenstance of the you know, with the tank being like the best fucking tank in the world. I mean, especially if the healer left, yeah, you're fucked. You're fucked. If the tank left, you're fucked. You know, nowadays I think like with warlocks, you can pretty much have the Void Walker do the tanking for you. But back in the day, even though the Void Walker was like a tank for the warlock when you were leveling and by yourself, In a raid or a dungeon, not so much. Even with the health funnel and trying to keep them alive, you spend more time keeping them alive than pushing out DPS, and even then with the health funnel, they still get killed quickly. Hunter pets, same thing. So if someone left, you were basically fucked. So, but yeah, what is the most one of the most memorable, if not the most memorable for you guys? Let me know. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.